Hey guys, here's another great excerpt from a collaboration I do with Dog Trainers Connection. I'm part of a forum of dog trainers, and we get together every so often and we talk about a variety of topics. All the dog trainers have tons of experience, so the moderators of Dog Trainers Connection, they'll come up with a topic and we all, offer our thoughts, opinions, comments on a particular topic. And the following excerpt was from a forum we did about losing a pet during the pandemic. Unfortunately, there have been many pet owners who have lost their pets, or they had to make the decision to let their pets go, and they were unable to go into the veterinarian's office to be with their pets when they cross over. So that was the crux of this particular forum, and we jumped around a little bit, as we often do in our YouTube forums. But I did want to share my part of the discussion in this particular forum as it relates to pet loss, and obviously my thoughts on having to let go of an animal during a pandemic. And if you want to see this particular forum in its entirety and hear from all the dog trainers, hop on over to Dog Trainers Connection channel here on YouTube. I'll throw the link below. They have so many great topics. I mean, we've done so many forums over the past few years, and I've been collaborating with Dog Trainers Connection since like 2005, I think. So we've done so much work together over the years, and this dog trainer forum on YouTube here, again, there's so many great topics. Again, if you want to see this particular topic in its entirety, check out Dog Trainers Connection here on YouTube. Really good stuff. So I'll shut up for now. Here's an excerpt, my contribution to this particular forum as we're talking about pet loss.
I thought, as people who have had experience with both their own pets and with their clients' pets and dealing with grief and loss, that might be an interesting topic of discussion today. Jeff, I know that it's probably not the same, but you're having adopted the puppies that you have had, and then you giving the one up for the foster, and now you have another one going out. With everything that's going on with people surrendering dogs, and some people surrendering dogs who don't really want to surrender dogs because of financial things, and is there some similarities to that, to losing an animal? Are you losing an animal in some way because of that?
I don't follow you.
Well, is
I don't give up dogs, so. You mean dogs that leave here after training?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, some I can't wait to leave. Some I'm sad when they go. I mean, it's a lot. It's different than my own pets. Yeah. I mean, there's some. One went home. We had 2 meet and greets over the weekend, and she took him home Sunday morning. And I made sure that I cried on Saturday when we met the first time, because the next day I knew he was going home, and I have to make sure that my emotions are completely in check, because I don't want to add anxiety to a situation where the dog has been with me for a couple of months. My crap don't belong on the dog's crap. That's my philosophy. So I make sure I separate and dissociate him leaving with any kind of emotion. But yeah, I feel sad sometimes, and sometimes I don't, but they're not my dogs, and it's not really grief. They're not hopping in a car to go get killed. So really can't compare the two. Okay. Grief is, I don't know anyone who would feel guilty over grieving the loss of their pet. If someone felt guilty because they're grieving the loss of their pet, I have a hard time comprehending that. Maybe because I get so attached. I don't know. Maybe because I take the loss of my pets so hard and so deeply. And some I don't. I mean, we're down in North Carolina now, 6 years, and we've lost 2 dogs, a parrot, and 2 cats. And my wife and I grieved differently for each of those animals. Sure. Because our relationships with them were different as well. So I think that has a lot to do with it. And like everyone said, I mean, grief is so individual. Everyone knows when you're a dog trainer, sometimes you turn into a grief counselor, right? And You know, there's no right or wrong way to do it. And, you know, you talk about the stages of grief, and while there may be some truth to the stages of grief, it's not linear.
No.
You know, it's peaks and valleys, it's back and forth. It's, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I personally
Yeah.
think, you know, we lost pets that have passed away on their own due to old age. Much easier than having to decide, no matter how old and sick they are. That's been my experience. Knowing that my Shih Tzu many years ago was 18 and a half and she passed away in her sleep. One of the cats I lost passed away in her sleep. I knew I was going to wake up and she was going to be dead. So I don't know how I knew that. I'm not like a super intuitive or anything. I just knew that,
Sure.
you know, her eyes were, I don't know, they were just telling me. I knew.
Yeah.
Sad, very sad. I grieved, I cried, all that stuff. Not as hard when you have to make that decision. That, at least for me, it's always challenging. But you know, and some dogs, they hit you more than others. I mean, you know, I wrote a book about one of mine. You know, Amber. I wrote her life story called Daddy's Little Girl on Amazon if you're interested. No. But you know, she was a therapy dog and a pit bull, so I thought her story should be shared.
Wow.
And that was not an intended book. I was writing for therapeutic reasons, which I suggest anyone do. Write a poem, jot down some thoughts, purge, right? Don't hold stuff in.
Yes.
And accidentally became a book. You know, what better way to celebrate her life of being a therapy dog and a pit bull, obviously, than to share with everyone all of the wonderful work she did throughout her life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's
Yeah.
but yeah, it's an individual thing, I think. You know, what was hard for me now, hearing from some people, and not down here, because my vet, although they were kind of closed and they weren't allowing people in there, they were allowing families in for euthanasia throughout this COVID. I think some vets weren't even allowing that. I'm one of those guys. I got to be with them when they go. That's just me. I just feel like I need to be there with them.
Yeah.
So I think for some people that might have been really hard if they had to like walk their dog to the front of a vet's office and say goodbye there. But that
Yeah.
sucked.
Yeah,
But,
that's terrible.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
yeah.
Oof.
So that was my little contribution to the forum regarding pet loss. I did want to add on one note regarding grief, and I'm not a grief counselor by any stretch of the imagination, but I do want to leave you with this, that grief, it's a very individual thing. There is no right or wrong way to grieve. I only caution people that if their grief is impacting them over a longer period of time that maybe they're uncomfortable with, maybe they should reach out for help. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we need to talk about our feelings, especially because, you know, we hold our pets so near and dear to us that oftentimes it could be as traumatic, if not more traumatic, than losing a human loved one. So if you are struggling with the loss of a pet, or maybe you're approaching that decision, don't go it alone. Reach out to a friend. Reach out to another dog lover or animal lover that maybe has been through that experience before, that can help you through it, or then maybe can just listen to you. Maybe you need a shoulder to cry on. You know, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've needed that, and I'm not ashamed of it. I mean, my animals are my babies. So just, you know, please be careful with grief. And do whatever you need to do to go through the process. Remember, there's no right or wrong way, but be truthful with yourself, be honest with yourself, and make sure that you're doing what you need to do to work through the process of grief, and, you know, again, reaching out for help, things along those lines. I always find that, you know, whether it's grief or some other area of my life where I'm struggling, I find that when I look outside myself and I look to help someone else with something they're going through, sometimes that helps me get through some crap that I'm going through, especially with the loss of a pet. Again, there's no right or wrong way. I just, you know, be careful, be honest with yourself, and do what you need to do to go through the process as healthy as possible. So thanks for sharing. If you like my channel, please consider subscribing. It helps with this whole YouTube algorithm thing. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And as always, if anyone has any content or questions or comments for me, please drop a comment below. You know, I like doing this YouTube stuff, but I'm doing it, you know, for you guys, for my subscribers, for my audience. So I'm here to serve you guys any way I can, especially if it comes to something like pet loss or grief. Again, I'm not a grief counselor, but dang it, I've been through it a lot of times, and I'm always open and happy to share my experiences with you. So stay well.